Thrive is made possible by the Miracle Channel family and their generous donations.
Wherever there's an incredible value for others, a love for others, that is where people just thrive.
Hey everyone, welcome to Thrive. It is so good to be here with you today. You know, one of the things I want to say about today's show is it's a little bit different. You'll notice I'm in a different set. Today's show is actually going to be done by Eden, but I had to get in front of you to explain a couple things. First of all, before I get into that, I want to make sure that you call in, that you take a moment to call the number that's on your screen. Probably one of the favorite things about this show for me is the fact that you can call in and connect from people all over the country, from sea to sea, west to east. Everybody calls in, and if you've got a prayer request, maybe if you've got a praise report, let us know. And I just think that's the coolest thing in the world is that people can call in right now. Let us know what to pray for, what to believe for. If you're going through something, don't go through it alone. Make sure you call, connect with us. Also, we've got devoted devotionals. When you call in, just let the phone operator know that you want the devoted devotional. We'll get you signed up, and that is paid for by amazing, amazing donors. Today's episode is so special. I don't know if you've ever seen The Chosen. Maybe you don't even know what The Chosen is, but it is an amazing series talking about and teaching about the life of Jesus, the chosen one. And it is such an amazing thing. They're going into season 5, and we've got a guy named Noah James who plays Andrew on the show. You're going to hear all about it. It is so special, so powerful. Make sure you kind of turn off your devices, keep your focus, because this is an amazing thing. It's one of my favorite things about Thrive is that as we expand, as we meet more people, as we go further and further, God is bringing amazing relationships across our table, and we get a chance to bring it to you. It is so special. You're going to love today's episode, so stay tuned. And again, make sure that you connect with us. We are all about connecting with you, the viewer, because God is doing work in you. I hope you enjoy this show.
You must know something. I do believe that Jesus is most likely the Messiah.
Why?
Why what?
Why do you believe that?
I've seen too much.
Then why are you doing this?
I suppose I have not seen enough.
Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem.
You can run on for a long time.
My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of thieves!
By what authority are you doing these things?
My own!
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
We have a problem. Jesus operates entirely outside our jurisdiction.
Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees! Stop this at once!
The world is changing, and Jesus offers a vision to redeem it.
He's not the Messiah!
Tell him that God's gonna cut you down.
Declaring yourself a sovereign, Rome will descend on us all!
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
The Pharisees are plotting to arrest Jesus of Nazareth.
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
I want peace, just like you. If you go through with this, our alliance is over.
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
There is talk of a collaborator from within of his own followers.
Go and tell that midnight rider.
City's on edge. If you succeed, I'll be the one left to pick up the pieces.
Go tell that long-tongued liar.
I ask that you keep your distance from me in Jerusalem these next few days.
Why?
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
You serpents! How will you escape being condemned to hell?
What have you done?
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
Well, Well, today I am so excited to be joined by Noah James, an actor on The Chosen, and he plays Andrew, one of the disciples of Jesus. And thank you, Noah, for taking some time and just, sharing your heart and answering a few questions about The Chosen. I think our viewers are just going to be so excited to have this time with you. So.
Oh, yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I was just in Canada not that long ago, so now I'm happy to virtually be visiting again. Maybe I can make this more of a recurrence in my life.
Nice. We were talking earlier and you said you love Canada. What do you love about Canada?
Okay, I'm going to be honest. The cliche, if you will, about Canadians, it's that Canadians are just very nice. I think it's more than that. It's like it's an ability to connect and be sort of present. And I don't know, I just found the people to be so amazing. And
Cool.
it was kind of representational. Like when I was leaving Canada, TSA, they'd be like, hey, what's going on, man? So just go ahead and take your laptop out. Yeah, you can go ahead and take off your shoes. Oh, you can leave that on. In America, like if I'm at LAX at 5 in the morning, they're like, get your bags out, get the... And I'm like, dude, everyone can chill. So I was like, okay, Canada does it differently here.
You can
Which I like.
relax here.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. You have been playing the disciple Andrew for all 5 seasons. What's that been like for you?
Well, I mean, it's a big question because it's hard to even encapsulate it, but it's been totally life-changing, honestly. Getting this role has completely just opened up my sort of life creatively,
Wow.
in every aspect. I mean, as an artist, as an actor, the idea that I get to go on set with people that I love, it really is a strong family vibe. And we get to tell this story the best way we possibly can. I mean, we really dig in. We have long days, but we're all together. And that's kind of what you want. And then the other side of it is that so many people resonate with it. It connects with so many people. So then as an artist, you go, wow, I get to be a part of something that's not just creatively and personally fulfilling, but that it's impacting people worldwide. There's almost nothing better.
Cool. That's so cool. What about like preparing for the role, or like you and some of the fellow disciples, like getting your mindset there and like studying the time and kind of, you being a fisherman and Peter's brother, and just like, what was it like preparing?
Yeah. Now the preparation is different because we have, we had 4 seasons done at the time of filming the 5th. We've been living this out.
Totally.
And living out, each scene, when you watch a scene in the show, you see it that one time. We lived it out all day, that one sequence, sometimes multiple days in a row.
Wow.
So for instance, the walking on water scene, that's what, 5 minutes of screen time? That was like from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Wow.
for 2 nights in a row in a water tank and some rehearsal time beforehand. So you're like living it out, and it becomes ingrained in you in a way that other people, it might be hard to understand just how sort of in your bones it becomes.
Right.
And so then at a certain point you show up, and if, someone says something and you're supposed to get angry at them, it's kind of easy because those relationships are so there for you. But I will say at the beginning, a lot of it was, being a weirdo, going into my room, turning off all the lights, and like imagining myself in these circumstances. And it's hard, when you think about what would it be like to see the Messiah, to run in and tell your brother, nothing else matters now, the world will never be the same again.
Wow.
Kind of hard to, I think for a lot of people, if you grow up Christian, or you grow up with sort of, that as a part of your life, you can almost take that. It's almost not that you take it for granted, but you think it's so there for you. It's so you don't really have to think too much about it. But if you're like, I'm experiencing this for the first time ever, and no one knows what Jesus is going to do, or what will happen to him, or what will happen to the disciples, like we're all figuring it out in the moment. I really try to approach all of that with as naive a viewpoint as possible, with as
Right.
innocent a viewpoint as possible, so that we can really try to bring truth to it.
I think that's amazing. I think that's one of the things I love about The Chosen the most is like so many of us, if we've grown up hearing about the Bible, reading about Jesus, most people know a little bit about the story of Jesus or some of the details or the high points, but actually seeing it lived out in like with friends and people and like what would society have been like and what would have the culture's response been like, and like just seeing that's probably part of my favorite thing about The Chosen is like seeing the humanity of Jesus and the humanity of the disciples and what it would have really been like, because sometimes the book can just become a book, but it's like, no, these are real people who lived real lives in a time that's so different than ours, and it's fun to see you guys, it's fun to see you guys do that, play that out.
That's my favorite part as well, because I grew up, I'm a theater kid. I loved Shakespeare. And there's something that happens when you work on Shakespeare as opposed to reading it. When you read it, you just go like, oh, okay. Sometimes they'll say something, like, and then this person was killed and goodbye, and so you just kind of take it for plot points, if you will.
Right.
But if you really go into it, and you're like, no, what would this human being be going through in the moments leading up to this?
Exactly.
What would the people around being going through? If you really dive in, something that, when it just says Jesus wept, those two words, you can almost gloss over it if you're not careful, because you go, oh, okay, all right, so he cried. You take it almost just as plot, or, for lack of a better term, something that happened. But really, like, okay, that's what the show does. What led to that moment, and what is it like for everyone when he's doing that? What is it like for Jesus? What is it like if he were to collapse and weep? Or it could be totally different. And we don't know the answers to those things, but we just try to do the most plausible thing. We try to bring our, artistic lives and creativity and psychology and analysis, and just really try to bring it to life. And I think that's why people respond to it. It doesn't gloss over those moments.
I love that. I would have to agree with you that it just brings to life something that sometimes people have a hard time imagining something or fleshing it out. And I love that about The Chosen, just kind of really finding that deeper meaning and fleshing it out and putting yourself there with them. Like, oh yeah, that's what they probably would have been feeling. And that's probably, oh my goodness, it's such a different culture, such a different time. Like, totally. I think that's so cool. One of my favorite things is you and Andrew and Peter's, like, the brotherhood thing. Like, has that been fun? Are you guys close? I don't know. You have a lot of scenes together and like acting together. I really like your guys' relationship.
Oh, thank you. No, I do as well. We definitely are close, and I consider myself very fortunate that we have that relationship on the show, because it's another way that The Chosen can study what the human relationships would have been like. So when you have brothers there, you have two sets of brothers, you got to see the different ways that they interact with each other. You get to, in a way, bring it closer to the audience, because most audience members know what it's like to be, a lot of people know what it's like to be a sibling, know what it's like to have different family dynamics. You can imagine, what would growing up with an older brother like that be like, and how does that shape the younger brother, and vice versa? How does the younger brother, being the way he is, shape the older brother? And so that, again, is something that we don't think too much about, but it's interesting. It interests me as an artist, as a human being. What are those moments? For instance, it's no secret that season 5 deals with Holy Week. So we are all truncated into 1 week. And so you think, great, what would it be like after the flipping of the tables in the temple? It's not just like, oh, it happens and the disciples go, great, I guess we're flipping tables now. And then we go back and we're, like, there would be a lot of kind of glances at each other. There'd be kind of whispering at night. You probably aren't able to sleep. And you're like, and some disciples would go, yes, it's time. I've been thinking my whole life, why are they allowed to do this? And others going, you've just upended centuries of tradition. That feeling of like, are we being disrespectful? How are we navigating these waters? And so that's been so fun to play those human aspects. And what would
Mm-hmm.
two brothers be like? One might be more rebellious than the other. And so you can imagine those conversations. And that's really what the writers do such a great job of, is let's imagine what those conversations would be like,
Yeah.
and let's do our best to bring truth to that.
That's so good. And I'm glad that they kind of get creative with it and they're not afraid to really flesh it out. Because I know for some people, attempting to tell the story of the Bible, a very, probably the most important part of the Bible is the life of Jesus. And to take that on is a huge undertaking. But I think, you guys have done just such a great job. And I only hear good things. I actually have a friend who volunteers as an actor. And she's done it.
Okay. Like background.
Yeah. And she's done it
yeah.
quite a few years now. And so talk about that. You guys have a lot of cast and crew. And from what I'm gathering from my friend is there are a lot of volunteers who come and just give their time because they just love The Chosen.
Oh yeah. Well, they're often in a season we'll have sequences or even weeks which is crazy to think about, but weeks at a time where we have hundreds of background people to come in and fill in the space. So any of those, the Sermon on the Mount was our sort of first foray into that, where we had 2,000 people, if I remember correctly, come in the middle of COVID too. So we had all the testing. We had to figure out how to make that all work. And people just came in because they loved the show and they want to tell this story with us. So then, you're sitting there doing the Sermon on the Mount, and we do our best to try to make it come to life. And then we have the feeding of the 5,000. We had 12,000 people come out and do that over a week. And season 5, we have Holy Week. We have the triumphal entry.
Yes.
We have scenes with the Pharisees and Jesus butting heads, obviously. And so we have the entire marketplaces, the temples filled with people from all over the world doing that with us. And honestly, when we get to times when it's maybe very hot outside, I forget how to do the calculus between from
where are
Fahrenheit.
you filming? Where are you filming? Like where was season 5 filmed?
We were in Texas and Utah. Both can be very toasty. But we have people, and we could be like going through it. But when you have hundreds of people super excited to be there, they lift you up. And so we feel like we are rejuvenated by them, and we really couldn't do it without them.
Well, and speaking of crowds of people and how they bring it to life, like the Hosanna moment with the leaves, like I got to see, and I just was like, whoa, like really put yourself there of all the people and the leaves and just the excitement. What were some of your favorite parts of season 5? I mean, it's in theaters now. People, I want to kind of give them a taste of like, what were some of the things that you were excited to film, or some of the moments in season 5 that people can look forward to?
Okay, well, I will say 2 that definitely are not spoilers. The first would be that moment, the entry into Jerusalem, because if you really do try to put yourself there, it's why I'm a history buff too. If you really try to put yourself in there and you say, okay, everyone is making their way into this relatively small city in this week. They are there to celebrate. So huge amounts of people, and everyone has been hearing about this rabbi coming into the city. And so there's a lot of tension. There are people who are super excited for him. There are people who are threatened by him. So you put yourself in those shoes, and it feels like you can cut the tension with a knife. And when we walk in, the amount of love and support, it was actually really humbling to be a part of. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I kind of read it on the page and go, oh, okay, so people are sort of cheering for us. No, before we could even see them, we're hearing the chanting and the singing and the cheering. And as we approach, some people would take off their cloaks or their wardrobe and lay it on the ground for us to walk over. And the whole feeling of like, I am not worthy of that kind of response, but he is. And that, all of that wrapped in, was really humbling, super special. We did that all day. So there was one day where we really filmed that walking into the city. And that was really special. And I will say the other thing is just the Last Supper. We spent 6 days straight on capturing the Last Supper.
Wow.
And that is really special because we did it inside. So time starts to, not make sense.
Yeah.
You're capturing the same dinner for 6 full days straight. Sometimes we'd be filming at 3 a.m. and you're like, I'm trying to hear this anew, hear some of these rather what could be disturbing from the points of view of the disciples. Jesus saying, I will be leaving soon. There's a time very soon where I will be away. There's talk of betrayal. There's things that are really hard to wrap your head around. The fact that we all got to do that together, it felt like a space, an environment that was created to just give life to the Last Supper, and the fact that the chalice is being passed down the line. We're breaking bread. It felt really special. I can't wait for people to see what we sort of did with it.
And the visuals. I think I was reading. I think it was the director was saying that it's just one of those seasons that needed to go to the big screen, like the visuals, and I have to totally agree with him. Like from what I've seen, and even the Last Supper and some of the moments in it, I'm like, oh, seeing this on a big screen would be incredible.
And we kind of we were taken aback when we first started filming because we had been doing it, 4 seasons. Then all of a sudden we're getting, not to get too nerdy, but anamorphic lenses. They're color correcting in a different way, so they're taking film photos of each scene to make sure that the color is going to come in just amazing on the screen, and they really went above and beyond. And so I have now had the privilege of seeing the first 2 episodes on a big screen and was completely blown away. And there are some moments that I definitely won't say because they are spoilers, but there were some moments even when I saw that on screen, I was just kind of, it took my breath away.
I'm excited, and I hope our viewers are excited to see season 5. It sounds like your team and everyone involved is just wanting to bring excellence to what you guys do. And I truly believe God is a God of excellence. And it's just cool to see people who are journeying together, wanting to make this story of Jesus come alive. And I'd say in season 5, probably some of the most important moments in Jesus's life. You guys are like, and in the disciples' lives, you're walking out, you're portraying. And so I'm excited for the world to see it now that it's in theaters. And just as we close, is there anything you would encourage those watching, like why they should go and who they should bring and how to help spread the word about season 5?
I think some people, there's a trepidation about seeing this story on the screen. There's a trepidation from many different sides. Some people get nervous that it's not treated with the respect that it deserves, or they feel like that it in some way cheapens it. And I just want to encourage those people first that we take this so seriously. And to us, it's so important that we try to bring this story to the world in a way where we just do our best to tell it with as much sort of respect and we really get in there, and they're tough days, and we're happy to do it because it deserves that. And then on the other side, there are people who have trepidation because they feel like maybe they are not a part of any sort of religious group, or they come from different belief systems. I will say I'm Jewish. I came to this story completely from the outside. I have loved being a part of this story. I've loved telling this story. I feel like the team behind this story does their best. There's nothing cheesy about The Chosen. There's nothing like, even dare I say, kind of preachy. It really is saying, forget all of that.
Yeah.
Let's show what it would be like to live 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem during Holy Week. What would it be like having Pharisees try to stone you? What would it be like if you were having to find your food? You can't pay your taxes to Rome. There are Roman soldiers on horseback following you on the streets. This sort of environment, we really tried to bring that to life. And so I hope we did it. It seems like we have. And I would just encourage people that if you want to jump back in time, this is just a great way to do it.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Noah, for just spending some time with us and sharing your heart. I can see the passion and the energy coming off of you and just how much you believe in what you guys are doing. And I think that's why it has been such a success over the last 5 years, is because you guys love what you do. You pour your whole heart and soul into it. And people want to see Jesus on the big screen. They want to see the story. And so I want to encourage our viewers, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, support The Chosen in theaters. Let's just be excited about seeing Jesus on the big screen. So thank you so much, Noah. We appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that. And if you've never had a chance to see Chosen, we've actually want to get you into the theaters. We've got some tickets to give away to you, but you have to call, you have to connect, and we want to give them away. So make sure you call the number on your screen right now, connect with us so that we can get you into the theater. We've only got a few, so make sure that you are one of the first callers to call so we can get those tickets to you. You know, as I've seen clips and shows and these one-liners of Jesus in The Chosen, it has impacted me more than most things. And if you don't know or you've never watched it, I want to challenge you right now. Start watching The Chosen. Let it impact you, because God is doing an amazing thing here. This is some of the most cutting-edge television happening right here, right now, and it's all about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It is so awesome. You know, I want to encourage you as well, when you call, would you maybe consider becoming a partner of the Miracle Channel? It's because of amazing partners that we can do programs like this, that we can reach people from sea to sea, that we can make amazing content and devoted devotionals because of partners. Would you take a moment right now, pick up your phone, become a partner, and allow the Miracle Channel to go further and do more for the kingdom of God? We love you guys, appreciate you guys. It's so good to be in front of you again. We'll see you same time tomorrow.
Thrive is only made possible by the generous donations of people like you. 100% of your donation goes towards ministry efforts. Call today and make a significant impact in the lives of Canadians. Through your financial investment, you are a missionary to the world. Phone lines will remain open for a limited time. Connect with us now by calling 1-800-815-6513. or visit miraclechannel.ca/thrive to leave your comments, prayer requests, and praise reports. Together, let's thrive.